All right, I want you to consider the equation that's a little bit above number 5. So I just tore it out of the page here. But on our worksheet, the equation that's a little bit above number 5 says that radian measure is equal to arc length over radius. So I think this is a pretty deceptive formula, only because it makes you think that arc length is just no big deal, when really we actually have a formula for arc length. So arc length, in fact, is arc measure over 360 times the circumference of a circle. Now, when I multiply by the circumference, I am going to actually write out the formula for circumference. So the formula for circumference is pi times the diameter. But I'm not going to write pi times the diameter. Nope, nope. I'm going to write 2 times pi times the radius. And I'm going to do that because I can see that the radius goes on the bottom of my equation. And so that's going to help me as I solve some problems up here. So I'm not really worried about that solving some of the problems at the very beginning, but the problems for number 6, that will help me a lot. Okay, so let's start with number 5. So for number 5, how many radians are in 30 degrees? So I just made up a circle with a radius of 12, and I made this angle here 30 degrees. That would make this arc measure 30 degrees. Now don't get arc measure confused with arc length. Arc length is after you plug everything in with the circumference. So I can say that the arc length is going to be 30 over 360 times 24 pi. 30 over 360 reduces to 1 and 12, and 12 and 24 reduce to 2. So I get 2 pi. And then the ratio is going to be 2 pi over the radius, which I started with 12. You could honestly pick any number you want. It will always reduce down to pi over 6, no matter what radius you choose. If you're getting a different answer, it's because you're doing something wrong. So pi over 6 radians is equivalent to 30 degrees. Let's try 135. If I do 135, oh, that was not drawn to scale. All right, 135 degrees, and let's make the radius 12 again, because I feel comfortable with that number. So arc length would end up being 135 over 360 times 24 pi. 135 over 360 reduces to 3 over 8, and 8 and 24 reduce to 1 and 3, so I end up with 9 pi. Now the ratio is going to be 9 pi over the radius, which was 12. Now if I reduce this, that's going to be 3 and 4. So I get that 3 pi over 4 radians is equivalent to 135 degrees. Who'd have guessed? All right, lastly, 180. So 180 is just the straight angle, so that's 180 degrees, so that would be 180 degree arc length. Then the radius from here to here is 12, so I can do 180 over 360 times 24 pi. That's 1/2. That's 12. So I get that 12 pi is my arc length. And then, sorry, for the ratio, I'm going to divide that by 12, so I end up with just pi. So pi radians is equivalent to 180 degrees.